This game was definitely my most anticipated of the year. Production was shaky, with lead game designers being swapped over during the early stages of the game's development, but the fact that Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley had just finished developing the masterpiece that was The Last of Us when they took this project on, I had every faith in this game and that it was going to be great, and it was for the most part. The game opens with an aged Nathan who has left the treasure hunting life to settle down with his wife Elena. He now works as a diver for a salvaging company, but it's clear that he misses a more adventurous life. Then, long story short, Nate's brother Sam is introduced into the fold, and we get a fairly generic reason why Nate has never mentioned him in the past. Essentially, Sam's in trouble, and he needs to pay off some dangerous people, which is why he needs Nate's help in tracking down the pirate treasure that they began chasing a good number of years ago. Nate then lies to Elena about having to go to Malaysia for work reasons, and their adventure begins. The first thing that I want to praise this game for is its insanely impressive graphics. The visuals are just stunning. This is probably the best looking game I've ever played through, and throughout the whole duration of the story, the player's just granted with several outright beautiful landscapes and vistas. During the first half of Sam and Nate's adventure, we see them go to Scotland, which is actually where I'm from, but that's probably the most boring location that they visit. Everywhere else is warm and exotic and truly stunning. The incredible visuals caused me several times to get confused when I was given control of the player character, oftentimes thinking that I was still watching a cutscene before realising, wait, I can play this? The animations are also smooth for the majority of the game. For example, early on in the game there's a mass brawl scene that takes place in the prison, and although I was playing and controlling the punches that Nate was throwing, it looked like a choreographed fight from a movie like The Raid, which really did impress me in a big way. Although there are some animations that are a lot more janky looking, especially when climbing and using the rope, but I'll get back to that later. As a character study, this is by far the best Uncharted game. The script is the best that it's ever been. The majority of the actors are brilliant in their roles, and the relationships and emotions that are explored in this game are complex and compelling. However, Uncharted is as much known for its characters and their relationships as it is for its epic, insane set pieces, and that is what's sorely lacking here. There's a few rinse and repeat building collapse and escape set pieces, which is nothing new to the series, and other than that, the big set piece in the game is the Jeep chase that we saw at E3. Yeah, the biggest set piece in this game is a glorified car chase, as in pretty much the exact same Jeep chase that we played through in Uncharted 2, but in Uncharted 2 it led to an epic train battle, which then led to the escape of that collapsed train, so basically the biggest set piece in this game is only a portion of the awesome set piece that we'd already played through 7 years ago. That is where this game sorely misses Amy Hennig's influence. She really is a genius when it comes to epic action set pieces, whereas Neil and Bruce are better at character, and that is the main focus of Uncharted 4, but that's never been the main selling point of the Uncharted series for me. But hey, it's what we got, so let's go through the characters as they appear in Uncharted 4. First of all, I do like this version of Nate. He's older and he's more restrained, and he's a bit more reluctant to get himself into danger than he was before. His brother Sam is an okay character, if a bit of an arse at times, although he clearly knows his way around the treasure map, and his relationship with Nate is quite an interesting one. It's also pretty nice to see Sully again, and even though his role in this game is fairly reserved, he is getting pretty old after all. The villains in this game aren't great though, which is pretty par for the course in the Uncharted series, to be honest. The main antagonist is a wealthy man called Rafe, but he's about ages with Nate, and he's just a spoiled brat, to be honest. He's a perfectly serviceable villain, but fairly generic, and he's nothing to write home about. His sidekick Nadine is probably the most unnecessary character I've seen in a game in a long time. There is literally no reason for her to be there, other than for the team to say, look at us, we have a strong female character that can kick the male character's ass, we aren't sexist at all. She brings absolutely nothing to the plot, and if she didn't exist, the game would literally be no different as to what it is just now. As I played through the game, I marvelled at how well made everything was, and up until about halfway through the game, my experience was totally smooth and seamless, but as I started making my way towards the end of the game, Nate started to randomly jut around, his animations felt more stiff and less free-flowing. His hand was going through rocks rather than laying on them, his feet would either sink below the ground, under him, or hover above it slightly, and then during one of the last chapters in the game, during yet another collapsing building escape sequence, while Nate was sliding, because he didn't quite slide into the spot that was supposed to, he got caught in a piece of debris, and the game glitched out indefinitely. Eventually I had to restart the game from the last checkpoint to proceed. This was the only major glitch that I experienced during my playthrough though, and while the rest of the game is so smooth, that it stands out like a sore thumb when you don't get that smooth standard that you expect, and then you get hit with this kind of this bad glitch. It does flag up a wee red flag, and you need to take it into consideration. I feel like I've been quite critical of the game so far, but I really did enjoy my time with it. I was working full time while playing through it at nights, so it served as a nice respite from work, and I did savour every single moment of it. I had no intention to rush my way through to the end of the game. I think I beat it over 10 nights or so, and that to me is a nice rate to play through it, because after you beat this one, that's it. No more Uncharted ever, so yeah, enjoy it. The game was a suitable send-off for the epic series, and as of now, it is my second favourite Uncharted game, behind Among Thieves. Unfortunately, the glitches that I experienced towards the end of the game and a disturbing lack of set pieces throughout did detract from my experience. But if you're a long-time Uncharted fan, and especially if you play Uncharted for the characters more than you do the set pieces, this is a must-play, and the standard of storytelling is truly astonishing. 9 out of 10. By the way, I have a podcast. Me and one of my mates for uni, Jonathan, we do it try to do it every single week. It's called the Game Switch Podcast. So if you like these videos and you like listening to me ramble on about this pointless stuff, go and download the podcast, please, and give it a listen. If you like it, share it with your mates. Thanks for listening. See you all later.